Hey guys, I'm Vercel from Stractors, and in this ultimate guide you will learn all steps needed to release an NFT collection on the Solana blockchain. We will go much more into detail on how to generate your artworks and metadata, build, design and host the mint site, and prepare pre-sale and reveal functionality. We also decided to publish a real project along this video. That means all the steps you see will lead to the Stractors-Pixel collection, which is now live and mintable by the time you're watching this. You can mint one for yourself to support us. The link is in the description. All commands from the video are also in a separate channel on our Discord server, in case you want to copy-paste them. One more reason to join our server is that we are also one of the largest Metaplex and candy machine communities. So if you have any problems or errors following the steps in the video, feel free to ask us there. As soon as the mint is finished, we can produce even more videos. For example, how to get listed on marketplaces like Magic Eden, or how to airdrop a free collection to all holders of our NFTs. One last thing before we start, only 10% of our viewers have subscribed to our YouTube channel, so if you want to support this video, which has cost us more than 60 plus hours of work, please leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So, the first thing we need is an IDE. I personally prefer Visual Studio Code, but in the end, that's up to you. The second tool we need is Git. Obviously, we want to clone repositories because we don't want to write all the code on our own. For code reasons, we also need Node.js because mostly everything is in Node or TypeScript written. Then we use, or most projects use, Yarn as package manager, so to install everything we need Yarn too. And for all our Solana commands we need the Solana CLI. What in the end is important too, or makes it a lot easier, is to use the Phantom wallet extension to manage your wallets and to see if your collectibles and your NFT tokens arrived. Furthermore, during our video we will use Metabus. To use and install Metabus, we will need Rust, so make sure to install this too. If you have all this installed, your environment is basically ready to go. The next thing we need then is Metaplex. Metaplex is the tool you need to put your NFTs into a candy machine, to let the people mint them, and also a possibility to generate your art. To clone this, we will copy this link here, go into our folder, in my case the v2 folder, and type git clone, paste the link, and we are good to go. Then this takes a few seconds, but normally not that long. And now we can move into the Metaplex folder, into the JS folder, and here we can type, or we have to type yarn install. This can take a few seconds, so we will put a cut here. Now we have Metaplex installed, and I want to take the chance to tell you a little bit about the Metaplex repository. So the repo we have here is like from high level not very interesting. You could use Metaplex 2 to host your own marketplace, but that is not something for this video. So if we want to see the interesting part for us, we have to go into JS packages and then into the CLI folder. Here in SRC, we have all the CLIs we use for our drops. We have the Candy Machine v1, which is deprecated for now, the Candy Machine v2 CLI, as well as the Gumdrop CLI and the deprecated Fair Launch CLI. With the Metaplex repo you can handle lots of different stuffs, and you also have like Gumdrop and a Candy Machine UI you could possibly use. So now, enough from Metaplex. What I normally do next is generating my wallets. For that, I'm using the command Solana keygen, then grind -- starts with, little typo here, and then the beginning letters I want to use the wallet for, double dot and then 1. And when I now press enter, I have generated a key pair which begins with the letters SE. And now I can do a little Solana airdrop to this. I think 2 is appropriate, and then we can just type SE and tap, press enter, and our seller wallet is getting 2 SOL. What I'm now doing is generating a buyer wallet too. So I'm generating the wallet and again doing the Solana airdrop 2 for this time the buyer wallet, press tab, enter, and our buyer wallet has also 2 slots. And now we have both wallets in our v2 folder named as the public key, and inside this JSON files are the private keys. What I normally do next is adding the private keys to my Phantom wallet to later on like have them in there so I can use them to test mint and stuff. But I'm doing this off camera now, so yeah.
At this point, it is now about the artwork. For our mini project, we wanted to do something with pixels, so we made use of pixel art, a cool tool with even pre-made objects. But you can also use any other tool like Figma or Photoshop. The most important thing is just to export the layers of your art as .png, so we can shuffle them randomly in the following steps now.
We have one folder per attribute, in our case a tractor, background, body, eyes, head, mouth and top. And in there we have our PNG files. They should be, as you see here, like only the attribute you want and the rest of the picture is transparent. Now to later on generate our art, what we need is a traits configuration file. Therefore, we can use the Candy Machine v2 CLI and we have to type tsnode and then the directory to this file. Then we can use the command generate configuration art, generate art configurations, and then the name of your traits folder. When we now press enter, this can take a few seconds. In the end, we have a file named traits-configurations.json as the basis of what we will need to generate our real pictures in the end. In this file, you can give different rarities and stuff, but I will show you this now. So when VS Code opens the file, now we can, and that's one of the reasons why I like VS Code very much, you can press right click and form a document, and now we have like a good structure. At the top, what we have is like the name we want to give. So what you should type here should be something like Stractors, in our case, Pixel, and then put a space in there, because at the end, the Metaplex tool will append a hashtag and a number. In symbol, you could put the like short name of your collection, in our case SP, for Stractors-Pixel. Description could be empty. In creator, we will put our creator wallet and the shares of the royalties it will get. Then we have DNP and pre-made customs. DNP in general is like not possible combinations. So what you could put in there, like for example, if you have like the lowest and the second layer, if you have there a combination where they have the same color, and then you don't want to let Metaplex generate this combination, you could put this combination in here. In pre-made customs, you for example could like show special combinations which you 100% want in your collection. In collection, we will have the collection name and family, and in breakdown we could value like all of our rarities. So we could, for example, like say De Jong Rainbow in this case have a 9% rarity, Lorenz Glow a 26% rarity. In the order file, what you are saying is defining which is the lowest layer and which is the most high layer. So in which order you want to put the layers on top of each other. You are probably wondering why I'm not filling this file, because I already have prepared this file for myself. So what we have here is like exactly the same file you have seen before, but I have pre-populated the special values and also the rarities. The only thing I have to fill in here is our seller wallet address, and therefore I will just copy the public key from the file name, we'll paste it here, and we are good to go. If you are unsure about the format of the different sections, for example DNP or pre-made customs, you can move to the Metaplex repository to JS, packages and then CLI. And here you have a README file where in the part create generative art, you have a pretty big and complete example traits file. So here you can like copy the format or anything you need, paste it in your traits configuration, and yeah, then just change the little differences you need. Before moving on, I want to take the opportunity with this nice overview to tell you a little bit about Stractors-Pixel. First of all, we see the name. Obviously it's Stractors-Pixel, then a hashtag, and then a number from 1 to 100. As I recognize now, the hashtag is probably not appended by Metaplex, so yeah, in the name you have to add the hashtag. Then we have symbol. Symbol in our case is SP, which also stands for Stractors-Pixel. In our case we skip description, and then we have creators with our public key and a share of 100%. We, for our collection, don't use DNP and pre-made customs, so we let it completely randomized. In collection we have name and family. Name of the collection is Stractors-Pixel. The family of the collection is Stractors in general. Then we come to breakdown and order. In breakdown we have like listed down our attributes with their rarities. And in order we have the order in which the layers are on top of each other. So the order of the breakdown section is not important. What is important is this down here. In our case, the lowest level is background. There we, for example, have Stractors Castle, Stractors Craft, and Super Stractors Museum with rarities of 20, 45, and 35%. This schema is the same for all of your attributes. So in our case also for attractor, background, head, eyes, and top. Maybe one additional thing to the breakdown section, if you want to have one attribute or one layer which is on every NFT, you could do it like we have done it with our David.png. Here we have like body and only one PNG with a rarity of 100%. So yeah, David the body will be on every of our NFTs, and then attributes are applied to him. Actually, our artwork is in 200 by 200 pixels, but because that is too small, and as soon as you open or enlarge the picture in Arweave or Phantom Wallet, it loses somehow some kind of sharpness. Therefore, we have increased the size proportionally so that we will use more storage volume, but on the other hand, like the product we will sell have a better quality. So now we can start generating or shuffling our artworks. Therefore, the first thing we have to make sure is to rename our Stractors-Pixel traits configuration to traits configuration. And then we can directly start to generate our command. Therefore, we will use the Candy Machine v2 CLI again and the create _ generative _ art command. And then the first attribute we use is -c for configuration, where our traits configuration will be. The second attribute we will use is -n with the number of artworks we want to generate, so 100. And then we have TA. This attribute is basically to achieve that the .png, which is in our config file, is not appended to the attribute names, so that we just have, for example, background and not background.png. And when we now press enter, Metaplex will generate our artworks. Metaplex has generated our assets folder. In here we can find 100 JSON and 100 PNG files. The PNG files are our artworks, and the JSON files are our metadata JSON files. So in here we can find first of all name. The name of this NFT is Stractors-Pixel #1, so Stractors-Pixel hashtag from our traits configuration and the one from Metaplex. Then we have symbol, which is SP, and then we have image. Some of you may get the question in mind why I'm not using hashlips, and image and URI are the exact reasons for this. Because hashlips is not updated since the last 3 months, and so it's not optimized for Candy Machine v2. When you use hashlips in these two places, probably image.png is written. And that's not working with Candy Machine v2. That's one of the reasons why I use Metaplex CLI to generate my artworks. Then we have type, which is image/png, category, creator as before in trades configuration. Then description is empty, and then we have seller fee basis points. Seller fee basis points is the percentage of royalties you get. So we are not taking 500% royalties. 500 stands for 5%. So 500 points are 5% royalties. Then we have our attributes: happy sweater, David, normal eyes, Rosler white, Stractors craft, normal mouth and no head. And in the end we have our collection, name and family. So now let's have a look at the artwork. And as we can see, everything is generated normally, looks fine. We have one beautiful Stractors-Pixel. And yeah, with this, the generation of the artworks is finished. And we can now move on to the candy machine, whitelist, presale, and more functionality steps.
To make a presale or whitelist draw possible in Candy Machine v2, we have to generate and distribute SPL tokens. You can imagine them as some kind of concert tickets, which are mandatory to enter the show, and in this case, it's the ticket to mint your project before everyone else.
To realize this functionality, we begin with generating our SPL tokens. For this purpose, the first important step is to set our seller key pair in our Solana config as key pair path. So we are typing Solana config set, then K, and then our seller wallet. And now on the one hand we can see that we are on DEVNET, which is perfectly fine. And then we can see our key pair path is pointing to our seller wallet. Now, what I always do is generating a new vanity key pair, which we are using to generate our SPL tokens. So I'm typing Solana keygen grind -- starts with, then TO for token, the one, press enter, and we have generated a completely fresh vanity key pair. Now I'm typing SPL token create token -k TO, press tab, and then I put a decimals 0 at the end to make sure that one token equals one token and not 0.00001 token. So yeah, that's to ensure to have a clear number as one token set. When I now press enter, as we can see, our tokens are generated. The next important step is to create an account. So I'm typing SPL token create account, and then our token public key, and press enter. As we can now see, our token account is generated too. So I'm now doing SPL token mint 100 and forgot the token address, my bad, mint, then TO, and then 100. And now he's minting 100 tokens into our token account. To make sure everything worked fine, I'm typing SPL token accounts, pressing enter, and I see the balance of my token account is 100. So I have 100 whitelist token to distribute. After generating the SPL tokens, the next important step is to distribute them. For this purpose, we will use Gumdrop. If you want to see any documentation on this topic, you can just go to docs.metaplex.com because it's a part of the Metaplex repository. And there under airdrops and Gumdrop, you have the Gumdrop documentation. Here, everything is written what I'm doing in the next steps, but at all, I'm showing you the basics. So to start with Gumdrop, what I'm usually doing is, first of all, of course, like using TS node, then pointing to the CLI SRC folder, and then instead of using Candy Machine v2 CLI, we are using Gumdrop CLI. And then we have the create command, which is for creating a Gumdrop. And yeah, before like just typing all the attributes down, I usually do a -- help to get an overview of which attributes we have. So, and now I can step by step explain them to you. So first of all, we have a -e, which stands for environment, which is when you are on DEVNET, when you are on Mainnet, it's Mainnet, obviously. Then we have -key pair, which is in our case the seller key pair. And then we have -r and -l. -r is RPC URL, which is necessary when you want to achieve something on Mainnet, but on DEVNET it's totally fine to ignore it. And then you have -log level, which is obsolete for us now. --claim integration is necessary for us because we need to clarify which claim integration we are using, and in our purpose we are using or doing a transfer, like from our wallet to another wallet. So claim integration will be transfer. Then we have --transfer mint. This is the public key of the mint asset written there. To be clear, it's our token public key. Then we have --candy config and --candy UUID. As you can see, you can use Gumdrop 2 to let them mint, or let the users mint the SPL tokens from a candy machine. We won't do this at the moment, so we don't need these two attributes. Then we have --addition mint, which is also obsolete for us in the moment. But what is interesting is --distribution method. So there we can clarify how we want to send our whitelist members the links to get their SPL token. There are several ways, as AWS email, AWS SMS, Discord with a Discord bot. What we will do now is using wallets. There we get a big JSON file where everyone can search for their public key and use a simple link which only works for them. Then we have AWS access and AWS secret access, which is for the AWS email and AWS SMS functionalities. --Discord token obviously is for the Discord distribution method. OTP auth is also not used by us at the moment. It's normally used for the AWS functionalities. And then we have this --distribution list, which is something we will create in a few minutes. And there at the end you put the path. And then we have some other things like resend only and host and help, which are also not necessary for us at the moment. As mentioned before, what we now have to do is generating our distribution list. For this purpose, we are just generating a new text file, name it thislist.json, press enter, and then open it in Visual Studio Code. In the meantime, we are moving to the Gumdrop documentation, and under the part whitelist, we can see the template for the distribution list. So we are copying this, going into our thislist and deleting the first parts. We will only have our buyer as whitelist member. Addition is also not relevant for us. What is relevant for us is the distribution method specific handle, which is the buyer wallet. And then we have the Gumdrop claim allowance, so how many tokens can this member mint. So therefore what we need is the public key of our buyer wallet, which I have here. So we can paste this into this place here, and then we can give it at amount a 1 or maybe a 2 to give him 2 SPL tokens. So, and that this is achieved now, what we can now do is generating our create command. So therefore, we will begin with the -key, which is our seller key pair. Then the next thing we have is claim integration, where we will use the transfer as mentioned before. Then we have --transfer mint, which is our token wallet public or public key and not the .json file, so remove this .json. Then we have our distribution method, which is in our case wallets. And then we have distribution list, where we put the name for our distribution list, thislist.json. And when we now hit enter, Gumdrop is creating our log files and our actual gumdrop. So as we can see, everything works fine. It is generating and showing us some data, which is perfectly fine. And now it's writing the responses in our .log folder. And now it's finished. So what we can do now is we can move into our .log folder, DEVNET, the name here. And here we have some DEVNET files. And one of them is URLs, which is the important one for us now. Because here we find the list we could now like post anywhere, where every whitelist member with his public keys listed and get a specific URL. So this URL is online and only works for the whitelist member specified in the URL and in the wallets list. And now we can see this site where we can now mint the SPL token. So I will log in now and go to my buyer wallet. Perfect, and we'll connect it to Gumdrop. So as you can see, I'm connected with DEVNET with the correct wallet, which is also shown here in the handle. And now I can claim my Gumdrop, and with one click we'll get my 2 SPL tokens. As you can see, claim succeed, 1 of 2, 2 of 2. And now I have minted my first SPL token from Gumdrop. You can see them here in the unknown token area. We can see, okay, I have two SPL tokens of this kind. There's one last thing I would like to mention. The shown way of distributing SPL tokens via Gumdrop is the easiest way, but there are definitely cleaner opportunities, but those need more effort and experience in programming. For example, the SPL token can be sent to the individual wallets via a Python script. This would make it easier for the community to receive the tokens, and they would not have to pay for it themselves. Instead, you are paying the fees for them. But also, this leads to a little bit more of a risk that you mess something up. So be careful with doing it like this. With these steps, we have generated and distributed our SPL tokens with Gumdrop, and we are ready to go to generate our candy machine. The first thing we have to do to realize our candy machine is setting up the config.json. For this purpose, Metaplex docs under candy machine v2 and configuration has a very nice documentation on this topic. Here every field is described, and we have some basic use cases like capture settings, hidden settings, and for example whitelist settings, which we can copy and paste and just fill in the things we need as customizations. As you know me, I already have prepared a config.json file, which begins with price. As Stractors-Pixel should be just a possibility for you to support us a little bit, we have set the price to 0.1, so 0.1 sol. This is a DEVNET test, so the number of NFTs is 5, so I have the possibility to mint all NFTs to later on do something like a reveal drop or something. Then we have Gatekeeper, which is the section where you enable capture settings. So here we have in the Metaplex docs a part named capture settings, where we just can copy the settings here and put it into the correct line. And now when we set the comma to the right spot, we have enabled the basic civic pass capture functionality. In Sol Treasury account, we put the seller account, so the account where we want like the mint price to land in the end. So for this purpose, I will copy the public key, paste it here, and we are fine. SPL Token account and SPL Token are the two parts of the config file. As I mentioned before, you can do a Gumdrop SPL Token mint with a candy machine, and that's the place where you put the SPL Token account, so the account where the SPL tokens should go, and the SPL Token, so our TO key pair, in when you want to do like a Gumdrop candy machine mint, SPL token mint. Then we have the go live date. Here we will put a date which is in the future, into, because we first want to test the whitelist functionality or simulate the whitelist functionality. So yeah, that's the first setting we will need. Then we have end settings, which are not relevant for us now, but if you are interested in end settings, you can just have a look in the documentation I showed before. And then we have whitelist mint settings. So for whitelist mint settings, we have some use cases listed down here. The use case which is relevant for us is the whitelist mint setting, the first one. So here we have as mount burn every time. So when you use a token for mint, the token is burned afterwards. And for example, when you have 2 tokens, after the first mint you only have 1 token, after the second mint you have 0 token. In mint, we put the vanity key pair, which we use to create the SPL tokens. In Presale, we put true because this is before the go live date, and we want to use it as a presale so that only members with a token can mint before the go live date, and then we have the go live date, and then everybody can mint, and it's public mint. And we don't want to use a discounted price. To do this, we could just put a discounted price in here, like for example 0.05 sol, and then we were fine. But for the moment we don't need that, so what we will paste here is exactly this. Then again place the comma, and we are fine. What we now have to change is obviously our token. For this purpose we will copy it out of our Explorer and paste it here, and we are good to go. So for DEVNET we could leave Arweave here. For Mainnet, as you will see later, we will do Arweave Sol, because Arweave will in the future be deprecated. Furthermore, we have IPFS, and AWS S3 bucket, which we don't need for the moment. No retain authority is in most cases also not relevant for you. Just let it set to false. No mutable, set to false too, because if you set it to true, you are not able to later on change the metadata, to update metadata. If you set this to true, it's not possible anymore, so you also cannot change the authority or the creator or anything. So yeah, I would recommend clearly let this be to false, but it's up to you. And if you are unsure about any of these files in here, then have a look at the Metaplex docs. There every single attribute is explained completely. And yeah, so we are fine like this. If we just want to do a normal mint, that's completely fine, or normal whitelist mint. But now we want to do reveal settings, so like a reveal functionality. For this purpose, we use hidden settings. So if you don't want to do a reveal functionality, you can now skip this part and stay with your config.json like this, and then continue with the afterwards part. If you want to do reveal functionality or understand hidden settings, then continue with the steps I do now. There are different ways to achieve some kind of reveal functionality, and we tested many of them. Most of them require basic coding skills, and you have a high risk to mess the reveal process completely up and to destroy your whole collection. So we would not recommend, for example, to use MetaBoss and then get the hash list and then write a script to match hash list or hashes to metadata. That's something we won't recommend. So we were looking for several days for something easy or an easy workaround to achieve it until Metaplex have a better way to achieve reveal drops. So what I'm showing you now is a Stractors approved workaround for this whole thing. What we will first do is fill hidden settings. Hidden settings, or the purpose of hidden settings, is to upload a candy machine where the metadata is the same for all of them. So you could use it, for example, as described in the docs, for very large drops, because you don't upload all the assets in the same moment you are creating the candy machine and the .cache file. In our purpose, we will just use it to generate a .cache file to upload our assets to Arweave without putting them on chain. So that's the purpose we will use them, because in the end we have a .cache file with the Arweave links, but the Arweave links are not on chain. Instead, we have a static Arweave link that is on chain for all NFTs. To achieve this, we will again have a look at the Metaplex docs, and here we have hidden settings, like a basic section which we can paste into our hidden settings department here. Here it is. So the comma again. What we put in here is we are giving a name, and this time we don't need the hashtag because now the hashtag is appended automatically, not as before. Then we put one URI, which is the same for all NFTs, and this URI is not the URI to the picture, it's the URI to the metadata which holds the picture. So if you are not prepared like us, that we have on DEVNET at least many Arweave links which are working, what I would recommend to get this URI is to upload the candy machine when you are testing on DEVNET, when you are doing it on Mainnet, then obviously on Mainnet, with one asset, then getting the Arweave link, and in the end just withdrawing the candy machine. So then you have a working Arweave link, which is perfectly fine, and that's it. Then we have hash. The purpose of hash is not connected to real functionality. This field is more of a possibility to prove that you are not manipulating the .cache file. So the way to handle this is if you have the correct .cache file, which you will use later after the update of the metadata. Before updating it, you can copy this .cache file, put it in a SHA-256 decoder, and then the result you can put into this hash field. So later on, your buyers or holders, which will get the updated values, can see or check if you used exactly this .cache file and you was not manipulating, like for example Stractors-Pixel #7 would normally have the best picture, which you can see in the .cache file, but after update Stractors-Pixel #7 is just some trashy unrare picture. So that the members or the holders have the ability to check if you was using like the correct .cache file before you really updated it. This field is the possibility for this. If this makes 100% sense, I'm not sure, but that's the way I understood this field. So what we are now doing is finding an URI. I already have a URI of one of our further tests of the real Stractors drop. So this points to Lorentz Glow, and what I will do is use this link, like the Arweave link of this, and use this as the single URI. So I have already copied it here. That's the PNG link, sorry, my bad. I have copied it here, and now we can save our config file. Now, and that's necessary for all people who skip the reveal functionality part 2, we want to get started uploading our candy machine. For this purpose, because we have choose the number 5 for the DEVNET drop, we will first have to make sure that also only 5 pictures or artworks with metadata are in our assets folder. For this purpose, I will now cut out 95 of my assets and put them in a new folder named backup. So now I will move them into here. What I have to make sure too is that this folder is not in the assets folder, because the verify assets command have some problems with that, so make sure that only the metadata and the pictures are in this folder, and you are good to go. And now we can verify our assets with TS Node, Candy Machine v2 CLI, verify assets, and then the assets folder. And when we hit enter now, we should, or Metaplex should verify if our metadata is correctly formatted, and the upload would work when we would do it now. So for DEVNET it's not that important because you don't waste money, but for a mainnet drop that's very important to make sure. Okay, looks fine. So we can now start with the upload command. So we will type again TS Node, Candy Machine v2 CLI, then upload, then K for key pair, put in our seller wallet. Then we will have -cp for configuration path and put config.json in there. And in the end, we will put the directory to our assets folder in the command. And when we now hit enter, everything should be uploaded fine. So we will have 5 NFTs in our Candy Machine with all the same metadata, and at the same moment our real assets are uploaded. And now we see the warning, Arweave storage option will be going away soon. That's why we need, or we use Arweave Sol for mainnet drops, but for DEVNET drops that's only a warning, so we are totally fine. And yeah, I will skip this upload process because it can take some seconds. Now, as you can see, the upload has finished. What we will do next is verifying that our upload went correctly. So therefore, and that's not necessary for hidden settings because the command will fail at all, but for normal drops this is very important. We type TS Node, Candy Machine v2 CLI, verify upload, and then -key with our seller key pair. When you normally now press enter, the Candy Machine or Metaplex is verifying that all uploads ran correctly. When we use hidden settings, all of our tokens are not on-chain, so the result will always be not all NFTs are checked out. But that's completely normal when we use hidden settings. If not, please do this verify upload command to make sure everything went well. The second verify command we can do when this command is finishing here is verify price to make sure that the price is also set correctly. I will cut this process here. Nice. The second command we can do is verify price, as mentioned before. To verify, we have also set the price to the right amount. Therefore, we will write a Candy Machine v2 CLI, verify price, our key pair, and then -p and the price we expect it would be, so in our case 0.1. If we now press enter, Metaplex is verifying if this is true, and you will get a response or an error message if something went wrong. In our case, good to go, Candy Machine price is set correctly, so we are fine now. Maybe as mentioned before, what is interesting now is the hash thing. So to make sure that, or to prove to your members or to your holders that you have done everything as expected, what you can now do is moving to your .cache file where the actual artworks are shown, and here you can just copy this and paste this in a SHA-256 decoder. So now I will go to SHA decoder or decryptor, and here I will now edit encrypt, and here we have a pretty good hash. And when I'm now move back to config file, I will use this hash at this place, save this, and will update the Candy Machine again. So I will again do the verify price, update _candy _machine command, then -k or seller key pair, and -cp or config.json, and then press enter. So we have a hashed version of our config file in of our cache file in our config file, to later on show your buyers that here that's the hash you have in your metadata, and that's the config file, so hash it yourself and check if the values are the same and you are not scammed. So that's to this topic. So maybe before this command is finished and is loading very long, what we will do next is doing a small turn to the Vercel hosting topic, because in this order it is easier to later on do your front-end adjustment and bring your front-end to the start. So that's the next part we will handle. The first step you need to do to get started with Vercel is to create a Vercel account. If you have so, then you will land on this page and you can simply click on New Project. Normally you have to connect with your GitHub account. If you have already done this, you can click on Import Third-Party Git Repository. And now we come to an interesting part, because for the UI we have several possibilities. What we will use is the Candy Machine v2 responsive UI of our team member Bloodspill. This UI have lots of benefits, especially regarding whitelist, and completely fits our needs. But you could also use, for example, the Candy Machine v2 Boilerman site of Tony Boyle. This one is pretty good too. And you could also use the Candy Machine UI from Metaplex. But for our purposes and the way we want to handle whitelist, the Candy Machine UI doesn't fit well, and then we decided to use the repository of our team member. So what we now want to do is copy this link into the URL git repository part here, and now we continue in the project creation process. What we now are doing is forking this git repository we pasted there into our own space. I will now give it a name. It will probably be Stractors-Pixel UI, and we'll click on create. Now I will create a private git repository where I can work and push my work, and from there the React.js site is deployed later on onto my domain. So this deployment process will take some seconds, so yeah, I will cut this. When we finish deployment, we will land on this page and some confetti is thrown. What we can now do is click go to dashboard, where we have the dashboard of our, in my case, Stractors-Pixel UI project. And now I can move to the git repository which is created, and now I can clone it. What we will do in some steps. Before, I want to show you something different. And here you see our project is already deployed on some test server, Stractors-Pixel UI.vercel.app. You see basically the min page here, but we don't have a valid Candy Machine UI in our .env file, so just nothing is shown. So to continue with Vercel and with our front end side, we first have to start editing something. To achieve this is cloning our newly created GitHub repository into our v2 folder. For this I use the SSH link, because I should be connected with the SSH key, hopefully. And as you can see, everything worked fine. If you don't have these SSH things, you can just paste the HTTPS link, then a pop-up window will come up where you can log into your GitHub account. That's a possibility too if you don't like to use SSH keys, because sometimes it's a little bit complicated. So now we have the repository cloned, and we see it exactly here. So the first step we should do, as usual, when we clone a new repository, is first install it. So I will move into the Stractors-Pixel folder and we'll do the yarn install command. Yeah, as usual, this can take a few seconds. So now the installation is finished. The first thing we'll do with the UI is grabbing our Candy Machine ID from .cache file. which we have here. Taking this one and moving back to our repository and generating the .env file, because the first thing I always want to do is do a simple yarn start to ensure everything is working well. This one, the string, perfect, like we are on DEVNET. So now I will save this and then rename the file to only.env. So what we have now is like a finished setup. The site don't need for the basics any other editings. So we can now do yarn start. This takes some seconds and then we should see the basic min site with the design from Bloodspill. Yeah, and then we are probably good to go. We could test on this stage, but before testing, the first thing I will do is like have a little look and then start editing the design aspects a little bit to our purposes, because this will be also the mint site we will use for Stractors-Pixel in the end. So I will show you how to do some minor adjustments on the design so that in the end you have your own mint page. So let's see how far we come here. It's starting the development server. And now, as you can see, the site is loaded, compiled successfully, everything worked fine. So we could now connect our wallet and start the minting process. But before doing this, obviously this is not our design, so this has nothing to do with Stractors-Pixel. So what we will do in the next steps is to adjust the design a little bit to our purposes, so that we have our artworks here, our little design on above here, and maybe delete some unnecessary buttons, fill some text. So this will be the next steps. There are two topics regarding design which you can change in this UI: the color theme and the content. For this, there are two files which you need to change the two topics. The first one is app.css. There you have the values to change the background color, the card color or the font color. And then we have home.tsx, where you can put the content in you want. So I would say let's get started and let's just start editing the theme. For this I've prepared a few color values which fits best to our collection. So there we have a nice yellow tone for the background and a little bit less yellow tone for the cards. And when we now hit Ctrl Save, we can see the changes are directly affected. So one more thing is not perfect in my mind, and that's the green of the title. So I will set this to white, hit Ctrl S again, and now the titles are white. So from general color design, this is enough for me now. What I will do now is changing the content. For this, I'm going into the home.tsx file and I'm searching for the basic HTML code. So here's lots of functionality implemented. And here, after the return statement, we have our basic HTML code. So let's start from the beginning. First, we have logo. That's the logo on the top left here. And I already have prepared a logo and a GIF for later on. I have placed this in the public folder. Here we have the SP logo and the SP GIF. And when I now type in SP logo instead of logo PNG, we should see that the logo on top here is directly changed. The next thing I want to adjust is the My NFT header here. Because we are Stractors-Pixel, we won't place My NFT here. Instead, we will write Stractors-Pixel and hit Ctrl S. And now, since we changed the header, it's important to change the GIF too. So, as before, I just put the name of my GIF file in here and the change is affected directly. What I now want to make sure is that we have some fitting texts down here, but this is a very easy process because it's just copy pasting. So I will skip this process and you will see the result in the end. Now I have populated our text boxes with some nice text about Stractors-Pixel, why does Stractors-Pixel exist, and our social links. So 2 things are annoying me. The first thing is that the A-tag href links, which I have placed here, are looking like basic Wikipedia links from 2005. So I just want to give them a different color. I don't want them to look like a link, but I want them to remain clickable. So what I'm doing is I'm pasting a small CSS tag for A with the color white and text decoration none. And when I now hit Control Save, we can see the links are still clickable, but more of look like normal text. The second thing that is annoying me are obviously the logos of Cool Cats here. So as before, I'm replacing the logo in logo aligner here with my not SPL logo, with SP logo, hitting the Control Save button. And now we should be fine. So here I deleted the L, that's why this logo was removed. So now everything is perfect. For me, the design is finished. You can adjust a lot of more things, but for that you need basic HTML and CSS skills. Then you can do everything you want with this UI. For our project, for this video, I think that's enough. Maybe in addition to say, if you already have like an index HTML template, like a main landing page for your project, before you completely integrate another UI, Tony Boyd's UI or Bloodspill's UI, into your site, which can be very difficult and you can mess a lot of stuff up. You need basic programming knowledge, front-end development knowledge. Before you do this, maybe as a suggestion, what you can do too is like using your index HTML, or maybe just creating a WordPress page for the basic design and host the mint site of another repository on a subdomain of yours. So you have like a landing page for your project, and then you have a basic mint site just for the mint functionality. What we now want to achieve is pushing our design changes to our Vercel test domain. So to do this, GitHub and Vercel have a connection. So if I'm pushing anything on my main branch, Vercel is automatically deploying the changes to our production site. So to do this, what I can do, because I'm only one developer, is just pushing directly to the main branch. If you are working with more than one developers, then you should have some kind of branching system. So with feature branches and then pull requests to the main branch to make sure you are not messing your whole site up. But in my case, what I'm now doing is just typing git add dot to add my new files, then git commit -m and fe adjustments as message, and then I can type git push to push my changes to the main branch, and we are now done. So what you can see here now is our FE adjustments deployment is building. As you can see, I tested it before, so there is already an FE adjustments branch deployed currently. Yeah, but don't mind about that. So now it is deploying automatically to our Vercel app domain. As probably many of you, I don't want to host my site at a .vercel.app domain. So for this purpose, I went to Namecheap and bought my own Stractors-Pixel.art domain. To now make sure that we can host our Vercel site on this domain, I'm copying the name of my site, pasting it in the view domains part without a white space, and I'm clicking on add. Now I have 3 different choices. The first one is the best one because it's redirecting Stractors-Pixel.art to www.stractors. So I'm clicking now add, and now I see invalid configuration. Because I bought my domain at Namecheap and not at Vercel, I first have to make sure that the correct name servers in the custom DNS of Namecheap are chosen. So I'm now pasting the 2 name servers of Vercel in here, checking the changes, and now it is changing. This can take some seconds. As you can read here, the update may take up to 48 hours. Normally after some minutes the changes are affected, and we will see here that our configuration is working. For now, it will take some minutes, so I will do a cut here. As you can see, now our name servers are updated and our domain is live. If we now click on our link, we will come to the mint site and you will see that there's one common issue. The mint site is completely empty. If you don't adjust the correct spots in your GitHub repository, the problem is that the .env file is ignored. So when you want to change this behavior, you have to move to your .gitignore. This can take a few seconds. And then, when Visual Studio Code is loading, we have to remove the .env in the gitignore file, because this means Git ignores every .env file. And because we want to have our candy machine live later on, we have to remove this from the gitignore, save, and then just git add dot, git commit -m, git ignore adjustments, enter, and push this commit to our master branch, and then we should be good to go. As we can see now on our overview, it is building the git ignore adjustments commit, and we will see how our deployment is now complete. And if we now move to our domain, we see the mint site as expected. Let's connect our wallet now, and if you remember correctly, we are now on the whitelist mint, so on the pre-sale process. That's why we see that you have 2 whitelist mints remaining, because we have 2 whitelist tokens in our wallet. And if I now click on mint, because I before off camera have done the capture process, we skip this capture for the moment, but you can see how this is going with the second whitelist mint. So I now click on approve. Now we have minted our first whitelist NFT, and when we click on Phantom Wallet, which is a little bit laggy for the moment, then we can see our Stractors with the hidden settings. So our before reveal NFT. Now we see I have 1 whitelist mint remaining, so I will do this too. And now you see the capture functionality. Now I'm looking for a plain, and when I click on continue now, the Civic Pass is requesting the on-chain capture functionality, and now capture is complete. I can now approve my second mint, and now I have minted my functionalities. As you remember, I set the date in the future, so if you don't have any whitelist tokens, what you see is just a countdown. And now we have 2 of our unrevealed NFTs in our wallet. So basically that's the whitelist functionality, and the next step we have to do is doing our public sale. To do the public mint, normally we would just wait until the countdown is outdated and the go live date appears, so the public mint starts. But to make this a little bit faster, what we will now do is update our config.json go live date to the past, so that the mint date or the go live date is yesterday, so the public mint already has started. So I'm saving the 22nd January, so yesterday, here, and we'll now update the candy machine. To do this, I will take the TS node candy machine v2 CLI, and then the update underscore candy underscore machine with a dash key pair and our seller key pair, and dash configuration path config.json. If we now hit enter, this can take a few seconds, but with a cut, this is incredibly fast. So if we now reload our mint page, connect our wallets, then we can see the whitelist mint is over, so the countdown is outdated, and we have now the functionality of a public mint. So if we now click on mint, you will have the normal captcha logic, choose some motor bicycles, many of them here. And now we have done the captcha, we can continue, approve the captcha transaction. Now it is verifying and it started the mint without whitelist token or anything. And now if we see the confetti, great. We have minted our first public mints before reveal NFT. So I will now mint the remaining 2 NFTs and will put a small cut for this process. Now our collection is sold out. As you can see, our buyer wallet has minted all 5 of our DEVNET NFTs and has paid 0.1 Sol for each of the NFTs to our seller wallet. The next important step we have to do now is signing our NFTs.
Let me explain you what is meant by signing your NFTs. It's basically something to verify the creator. If you don't sign your NFTs, then someone else could steal all your images and create their own candy machine with it. And people wouldn't know which one is from the real creator. Some marketplaces even do not accept your project if you don't sign them. So watch out for the next steps from OneStone if you wish to sign your NFTs, which is highly recommended by us.
First of all, to sign our NFTs, we have to install Metaboss. Metaboss is a pretty nice GitHub repository with lots of functionality. Over the link down here, you can get an overview in the docs about all the functionalities Metaboss brings with it. But first of all, let's install and clone Metaboss into our folder. Therefore, I have to open CMD, move to our v2 folder and type git clone, then paste the link of Metaboss, press enter, and it is cloning into our folder. Then we can move into the Metaboss repository and type cargo install Metaboss. That's the way we install this tool. And yeah, as mentioned in the beginning, make sure to have Rust installed. Without Rust, this is not working. So yeah, I will cut this part. Metaboss is successfully installed now. To make sure this is true, I just type Metaboss and I see I have Metaboss version 0.3.4. Before actually signing my NFTs, I want to show you what the before state is. So now I'm opening one of our Stractors with Sol scan. And as we can see here, our creator, the candy machine creator, is verified, but our actual key pair, our seller key pair, is unverified. To verify this, we do the sign all command. So what we are doing now is we are typing Metaboss sign all, then -k, and put our seller key pair in here, then -c. -c stands for candy machine ID. To get this, we move back to our devnet.json and copy our candy machine ID from here and paste it into our command. And in the end, very important, we put a --v2. And when we now press enter, Metaboss is signing all our assets with our seller key pair, which is one of our creators as well. So now this take a few seconds and now we have the state done. Don't panic, and when we now reload it, this will probably be unverified. Just take a few seconds until Sol scan has correctly set this to verified. So we will now just refresh a few times, and after some seconds we see our key pair is now verified and everything is fine. So this signing step is very, very important to ensure that your NFTs can't be faked and sold anywhere else. So when you now have both set to verified, both key pairs have signed, then you are good to go. Our collection is now minted and our collection is signed. But as you can see, we are still in the before reveal state. So what we will do now is revealing our NFTs. Therefore, we will need to prepare 2 .cache files. The one we have here, which shows us basically the state we want after the reveal. So here we have like the correct arweave links of the real artworks for later, with the status on-chain false, which is not relevant for the functionality we will use. So we can now check if the arweave links represent the real artworks with pasting the link in Chrome and checking if the image URI is the correct one. Looks fine. And now we are copying our .cache file, because we now will prepare one after reveal JSON and before reveal JSON. Like that. Our after reveal JSON is basically the JSON we get out of our Candy machine, because here the JSON file holds the arweave links we want to give after the reveal. So what we will do in the before reveal is replicating the current state of our Candy machine actually. So we will need to copy the arweave link, which is held by every single NFT, and we'll replace the links with this link, because that are the actual links they are holding currently. Because when you have like many different links in here, it could be pretty difficult to replace them by hand. I have prepared a regex which I will give to you afterwards or in the description, which you can use to replace your links. As you can see, it's a simple form which just searches for links in this thing and marks them, so that now we can replace them with the actual arweave link. So if I now click here the replace all button, our before reveal JSON is ready, and our after reveal JSON stays like this. To enable that the command later on will find our JSON files, we have to put a DEVNET dash before the actual name. Just the syntax is like this, that the environment, then a dash is before our .cache JSONs. So now a small storyteller to what we are using now. So Metaplex has a functionality or a command which is named update existing NFTs from latest cache file. For any reason with Candy Machine v2 this was not working properly, so Helaprix was doing some fixes and has started a pull request where I find his changes, and I tested them and they worked fine, but not for hidden settings. So what I've done is forking his repository into my own repository. The link will also be in the description, and did some minor adjustments to fix the command for hidden settings too. So what you can now find on the branch patch 1 is fix update existing NFTs with latest cache file. It's pretty funny, I don't know why exactly, but for any reason I have an error with my SSH key that there is written a different name. So if anybody knows why, then write me a message at Discord. But yeah, don't mind about that. So what we will now use just for this single command is the repo Metaplex, or the Metaplex repo in my space. To do this, we first have to clone the repository. And there I can say that it's not possible to clone it in the same repository as the original Metaplex repo. So what you have to do is create a new folder. I named it update, and then just type as usual git clone, and then put the HTTPS or SSH link in there. Clone the repository. I now already have cloned it. So then you have to check out. So with git checkout, maybe first move into the Metaplex folder and then git checkout patch 1. I'm now already on patch 1, so don't mind about that. And then if you just installed it, make sure to type cd.js, so move in the JS folder, and then type yarn install. But for my environment, everything is set up fine. So what we will do now is generating our command. Therefore, as usual, we will use the TS.js Candy Machine v2 CLI, but I'm in the wrong folder, so I will move back to v2 and then paste this again. Now we are using the Metaplex file from the update folder, so I will add an update here, and now we can paste in the command. It's pretty long, so make sure to copy it anywhere or use the help command, updating existing NFTs from latest cache file, and then we will start with the --help. I normally like it to start with the --help to get an overview what attributes we have, to make sure I don't miss something. So let's see what we got. And now we can see that the command starts with a -env. We are on DEVNET, that's default, so we are completely fine. And then the first important thing is -k for key pair. We will put our seller key pair here. Then the next thing we need is -c for -cache name. And here we put the name we want without the DEVNET dash, so before reveal. And then we have an attribute named new cache, where we put after reveal into it. So if I now hit enter, everything should work fine. Like, just to make sure, here we have our Stractors-Pixel 3 NFT with the old picture. And now let's see if it is working. What the tool is now doing is like iterating through your two JSON files, compare them to each other and check, okay, where we have a difference between the two URIs, and he will update all the whole cache file from top to bottom, where we have differences between the URIs. So if there's a difference, he will change the URI from the before reveal to the URI of the after reveal. And now we can see finished signing metadata for 5 NFTs. So the process is not completely ended, but I think when we reload this page here, we can see that we have our Stractors-Pixel #3 revealed here. And when we now click on our wallet and are having a look at all our NFTs, then we see everything work perfectly. Our NFTs are revealed and we have the #1, 2, 3, 4 and the Stractors-Pixel 5 as expected. So yeah, we now have an NFT collection which is revealed, which is signed, which is minted, and everything is perfect. This means the DEVNET part of the video is finished and we can now move on to the mainnet part. Because the majority of steps are exactly or nearly the same, and many of the features we showed before, like pre-sale and reveal, doesn't fit to the way we will drop our collection, we will show you in the following minutes just how to use a custom RPC, set up your public sale, upload your Candy Machine, and adjust Vercel so that you guys can mint our Stractors-Pixel. Some functionalities are not even possible at the moment, like signing and Magic Eden listing. So subscribe to our channel, mint our collection, because when everything works out well, we will do additional videos about the further steps of Stractors-Pixel. To get started with our mainnet part, the first thing you have to do is creating an account on any of the good RPC providers. We in our case use QuickNote, but some others are totally fine too. So now I have created an RPC node on Solana mainnet, and this one we will use later to upload our assets. In our case, with 100 assets, that's not that important, but when you have larger drops or larger collections and you want to upload, the Solana mainnet RPC point is not the best one, so I would clearly recommend to use a custom RPC. The next thing we have to do is to throw away our before assets. So for the moment, these are completely irrelevant, because we have the wrong seller wallet and we want to make sure that everything is ready for our mainnet drop. So what we are doing is going back to our trades configuration and have a look if everything is working for our public mint. So the name is totally fine, symbol is totally fine too. For creator, we will use our Stractors public key, our Stractors wallet, and we have to put this here that the royalties in the end also go to our Stractors wallet. Then, as before, DNP and pre-made customs are not used. Collection is fine too, Stractors-Pixel and Stractors as family. Our breakdown is fine, order is fine, width and height is fine too. So we can now save this and now start typing our generate command. So we will, as usual, start with the TS node Candy Machine v2 part, and then we will type as before generate not true, create generative underscore generative art. Then we need the -c named traits configuration.json. Then we need the -n for 100 and the TA true, so that we don't have the .png in our attribute names. When we now hit enter, this will take some seconds, obviously, but in a few seconds we should be done. Now that we have generated our assets, let's have a look what we got here. So on the first view, this looks like a very good mixture. So let's check one JSON file, and in here everything looks fine too. 0.png, we have our Stractors wallet and the attributes without a .png. So I would say our assets are ready to go. So to make this 100% sure, as before, we will again use our verify underscore assets command on our assets folder to check if everything is okay, if there are any like Metaplex issues with our collection. So let's wait a second, and as we can see here, this will still work properly. Looks like there are no errors on the whole collection. Pretty decent. Very nice. Okay, perfect. Now our assets are ready to go. They are generated, they are verified. So let's continue in the process. So the next step is to prepare our config.json. So I already have started with it, but let's go through it point for point. So the first thing is price. We will remain at 0.1 sol. Second one is number, and this is raised from 5 to 100. Then we have gatekeeper, which is civic pass and stay civic pass, and our sol treasury account, where I already have pasted our Stractors public key. Go live date is okay for us when it's in the past, because we want to start directly with the public mint. We won't have any kind of whitelist or presale in before, so that's totally fine. And as I just found out today, our Vercel currently is not working very well. So when you are under, I think, or I read 10 megabyte with your storage, currently they like Metaplex, or the guys in the Metaplex server are saying it's totally okay to use RWeave. So let's go with this. Then our config file is ready, our config file is saved, and I would say let's continue with generating our upload command. So the first thing we always need is not our RPC URL. It is our TS node Candy Machine v2 CLI, and then we can start with uploads and the --help command or attribute, so that we can first get a small overview what we are maybe missing, or maybe if we have some additional things on mainnet. So obviously we have some additional things on mainnet, And that's, for example, --.env, which was default set to DEVNET, and now we are on Mainnet beta. And then we have -k, I think that's already known, so we will put our Stractors key in there. Then we have -c. I would like to give it a special name, Stractors-Pixel, sounds good for me. Then we will add -cp for configuration path, which is config.json. And then the only thing that is missing is --rpc URL, which is obviously our quick note. So let's paste this here. In the end, we will put our assets, so the folder where our assets are. And now we can hit enter and let's see what's happening. And now this looks pretty fine for the moment. So it's processing our assets, 0, 50 and 51. I think I will place a cut here. As you can see now, everything has worked perfectly. So our upload is set to successful true, which is a little bit surprising for me. But after I switched to Arweave, it was working perfectly. Arweave Sol was not working for me, but I guess we have to stay up to date, because this could change like from day to day. So what we will do now is checking our cache file and see if everything is fine in there and everything looks good, just to make sure that we are not messing something up. And as I can see here, on-chain is true because we haven't verified yet. Verify is set to false, which is okay too. But yeah, then I would say let's verify now. It's a little bit long command, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's replace upload with verify, not assets, uploads, and --help. As usual, let's see if there are any attributes we don't have in mind now. So double check everything, and then if Candy Machine v2 CLI is loading up, perfect. So let's start. As usual, the first thing we got is .env, --env. There we put mainnet beta inside. Then we have -k for key pair, where we are not putting our seller key pair, instead our Stractors key pair. Then we have -cache name, which I named Stractors-Pixel. Then we have -rpc URL, where I will put the quick note URL again. Let's copy that real quick. Great. Perfect. And that's basically it. So we can hit enter and let's see what this command is doing. Normally everything should be fine. And it looks good, ready to deploy. So we have one more thing we can check. Let's verify price. So yeah, let's do this command too. Maybe instead of just doing --help, because the command is formatted nearly the same as verify upload, let's just change verify upload to verify price, and then put -p at the end. 0.1 is our price, the price it should be. I'm pretty sure it will be correct, but let's see. Good to go, looks pretty decent. So what we can do now is starting to edit our .env file to get online our mainnet mint site. Therefore, I'm copying the Candy Machine ID and then move to Stractors-Pixel UI, .env, and now pasting the candy machine in there. For Solana network, we will obviously choose mainnet beta. And then for React App Solana RPC host, we will not take the normal Solana mainnet RPC. We will take our own QuickNode RPC. Exactly, and place it here. And now we are good to go. So we normally could start throwing it to Vercel. I would say let's start with little commit. Let's type. I'll first go into the Stractors-Pixel UI and then type a git add dot as usual, and then let's do the commit git commit -m, and then let's name it edited.env or mainnet. Nice. But before like pushing it to our website, let's maybe do a little yarn start, and yeah, let's test it. As you know, this takes a few seconds, so I will place a cut here and see you then. So now the yarn start is finished. So let's test if when we connect our wallet, everything looks expected. Connecting, total minted, 0 of 100, minted 5, and everything looks fine. So I would say let's deploy it to our Vercel site and then do a test mint on Vercel. Therefore, we will stop this project here, and then we will type git push. So now production should be deploying. So as you know, this can take a few seconds too, so I will cut this here. As we can see now, our mint site, our mainnet site is live, so we don't have any remaining deployment. And we can see here now our mint site. I already have connected my buyer wallet and transferred 0.15 Sol to it, as you can see here. So now let's try to mint our Civic Pass. So we need to click trucks here. There are some trucks. Truck 2. Okay, Civic Pass knows I'm a human. That's great. So let's continue. And then when Phantom Wallet is loaded, let's approve this transaction. Perfect. Let's approve it. It says verifying, and I guess this looks good. Now we can mint. So let's see what the estimated price says when Phantom Wallet is ready to go on, and we see 0.11197 Sol. Perfect. Then let's approve the transaction, and looks good. Let's see if we now have minted the first Stractors-Pixel. So let's switch to collectibles and let's give Phantom the time he needs. Then we see Stractors-Pixel here, and we have our first Stractors-Pixel. We have the mask mouth, normal eyes, Stractors craft in the background, usually as usual the David. We have the head, the crown, the king, pretty nice. And then we have a Rosler white and a basketball tee. Pretty nice Stractor, and yeah, so it's working perfectly.
Okay guys, this is the last part of the video. It's 2 AM in the morning now, and Winston and I are completely exhausted. The last 2 days I think we had absolutely no sleep, maybe like 2 or 3 hours a day. because we wanted to drop this video so bad. We said that we will release it until end of the week, Sunday, and there are people on our server waiting for this video about 2 weeks now, and therefore we try to give our best, but I think the little delay is even not a big problem. What can we tell you now? OneStone, what is your opinion? How hard was it?
In the end, now we have one collection. We have shown every steps on DEVNET, reveal drops, and all this kind of stuff. And in the end, we have a pretty decent project, Stractors-Pixel, on our domain now. And we have 1 hour and I think nearly 40 minutes video material or something like that.
I think maybe more, but we will see after I've cut everything. What is our plan for the future? Our plan is maybe to wait until the drop goes sold out. We will try to do some marketing, of course. We will try to promote it on Metaplex. Maybe they help us too. What I can tell you is that we would love to see the project going sold out, as we would like to do more videos on this topic. As for example, we would like to list it on Magic Eden, and of course we need to close the candy machine and sign them before. Maybe we will film that too, or documentate it in our Discord server. Join our Discord server. That's one of the most important points. What I can tell you is a benefit for you and also for us too. The next plan is probably that we also want to do an airdrop for every Stractors-Pixel holder. But yeah, you will get the news information in that case in our server again. Yeah, and OneStone, what was with the rarity table?
I just had a mind, so I think there are many topics we can handle with Stractors-Pixel in the future. So we will see where it's all leading. The first necessary step is that it's sold out, obviously. But when we have achieved this, there are many opportunities for lots of different videos. Another topic additional to what Armo mentioned are rarity tables, for example. That's, I think, also very interesting for many others of you. So yeah, in the end, I would say I think we have handled lots of many different problems all of you had, or some of you had. But if you have any questions left or something, then join our Discord. Talk to our team or to us. Ask the questions you are left with. And so I would like to thank you for watching, for the few who are left here at the end, and see you guys from my side.
Hey, wait. I have one point to say. Thanks for all the love you gave us in the server. I think we have made over 400 or 500 members in the last couple of weeks, and therefore I would love to say a big thank you. And I don't know if they will heard this part of the video, but a little shout out goes to Bloodspill, Rushi, all our candy experts like August, Spenny, Evolex. Thank you all for the help in our server. Even, especially in the time when we filmed this video, as we had nearly no time for the server and the people in. But we tried to even answer to all of you. But a big shout out goes out to you. And sorry if I missed someone's name. Maybe in the next video. And yeah, see ya. That was my last 2 cents.
One last point from my side. Please don't hate my English too much. Thanks. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Oh.